This is the beauty of Nigeria from the eyes of Delta State. We are right in the city of Asaba. And today, I'm going to be having conversation with the commissioner, someone who knows, what is going on in this beautiful state. And then he's going to educate us and also be able to, tell us places to visit, places to go in case you're, planning to come to Delta State, some places that you should be able to look, make sure that you visit or you go and learn one or two things. We'll go on this short break. When we come back, we'll go right into the conversation. Don't touch that dial.
Here, most importantly, is the Lander Brothers Anchorage, where the Mongo Park's ship came first. We are right here in front of Obogono Modern Market, standing before a statue of a great one, Omungushe of Asaba. This is Oboso, where Asaba massacre ground.
Thank you so much, sir, for having us.
Thank you very much, Chichi.
So, tell us from now, before we get to talking about Delta State, from media to politics. Have you always been a politician?
Even at the moment, I don't even want to say I'm a politician. I'm just working.
Okay.
Just like
you just
employ somebody to come and work.
Fantastic.
And in the course of work, there are certain ingredients that are needed. So whether you call it politics or not, all I know is that yes, those things that I need to do to contribute to the advancement of democracy and the growth of my dear state, that's what I'm doing.
Fantastic.
So I wouldn't know whether that's politicking, but I know that I have not had cause to say I want to run for any election.
Okay.
I've never printed any poster.
Wow.
But I try to identify with those who I believe mean well for the development of our state. And so that's what I'm doing at the moment. And
I want to believe we are doing well, because for him to now, from one to double your portfolio, I think.
I don't know, but the grace of God is also, I'm not the only one who is doing well in terms of doing well.
Fantastic.
You cannot also wish away the grace of God.
Absolutely.
Which may have also triggered the benevolence of the governor to say, okay, you do this. And so I do not take that for granted.
I know I'm tempted to go straight to our conversation to talk about Delta State.
You are free to yield to the temptation.
But I still want to talk a bit about politics. We're here, and the government has been in, here for almost 2 years. What is that thing
You're talking about the present administration?
Yes, the present administration. What is that one thing that you think, this present administration has done that is unique, that has added, a bit of a different touch from the past? We are not comparing, but it's just to scorecard a bit. And what is the governor doing, that is a bit different?
Well, I wouldn't know what you mean by different, but you should know that the fact that individuals are different means that they're also going to reason differently, and then also execute projects and programs differently. And so to that extent, there are a whole number of things that Governor Borowo is also doing differently. And you recall that in coming into office, he came in with an agenda to do more. That more, which is the acronym for the different policy priorities that he has set for himself and for the administration to run on as a pedestal.
Okay.
It also literally means to have more of what we had before, which means surpassing the action, the progresses of the previous administration. And of course, that is the prayer of every parent, that your children will do better than yours. So, and we are lucky that in that distance, Obowo is trying as much as possible to do more. Now, strictly speaking, in terms of the trajectory of the administration, the more stands for meaningful development, opportunities for all, realistic reforms, and of course, enhanced peace and security.
Wow.
And on these different four policy priorities, he's trying as much as possible to take them along and then run with it very, very fast along that trajectory of advancing data. And so he has been able to ensure that he awards projects based on available resources. So to that extent, you see that we are now able to award projects and pay faster than it used to be. In which case, it's not just maybe possible to award 10 projects.
Yes.
But if you are going to award 5, let it be that 5 you have the capacity to pay and you have the capacity to execute it, so that no contractor comes back and say there is going to be a review on account of the fluctuating nature of our currency. And so he's doing that, and he's doing it very, very well. And that has also made him not to now begin to look for how to borrow funds.
Wow.
So to that extent, he's doing that very, very creditably. And he's also reaching out to Deltans, irrespective of where they live. And today, I'm happy to report that Delta is one of the very, very few states where you have the predecessor and the successor still being on the same page, living happily together, doing things together, and reasoning together. Unlike what you see in other places. Of course, I don't need to mention those places where it has become more like war between quote and unquote Godfather and Godson. But for me, between a predecessor and a successor.
Absolutely.
And so we are making a whole lot of progress, and we are quite confident that as we continue along this line, before the expiration of his tenure, by the grace of God, after 8 years, you would have seen that a whole lot have been achieved, and we're quite confident that Oborowori will do a whole lot.
Fantastic. So obviously you're saying there's a continuum, you know, because we see in governments, one governor comes in and just abandons the project.
No, he's running with almost all the projects that he inherited. Some of them we have completed and commissioned, even as he's initiating new ones, taking bold steps. There are a whole lot of bold steps that he's taking. And you do know everybody talks about the bridges in the Warri, Uwe, and Udu-Azis. Those are very bold steps, bringing in Julius Berger to execute them. There are a whole lot of other mini projects that are life-touching. For instance, Ohoro Bomadi is about, it's a 47-kilometer road, but we're working on about 30-kilometer stretch of that road. We have also, at the moment, we are going into a particular road that links Ethiopia East with the good people of Okbe. Is almost about 30-something kilometers. That is also being undergoing procurement. And so I can tell you that a whole lot of projects that are going on. A number of the bridges that were inherited are also being pursued vigorously.
Fantastic.
And so that sustainability and that idea of having to believe that government is a continuum is one thing that we're enjoying. And as Deltans, we do not take it for granted.
Fantastic. So as Commissioner of Works and Rural Development, please tell me, what is that one project that has stood out for you, that for you is very dear to you, that it has started and must be completed? Yeah, there are a number of projects, but since you said one, I am quite very, very happy about the storm drainage projects we have in Ugolokbe, Okwokoko, and Usubi, and of course other communities around that corridor. I'm happy because number one is going to make it possible for people to have much more buildable areas, much more development opportunities, because a number of lands that were threatened by flood before now are now becoming useful because we are now controlling the flood and channeling it into the Abaru River. That project is very, very dear to my heart. I am very, very happy that the governor is carrying out that project. That is a project that is undergoing. It's a project that gives us a sense of happiness because number one, we're addressing the challenges of the people in that particular area. The word I was looking for before is undertaking that project. And so been able to embark on that project means a whole lot to me, even if it was the initiative of His Excellency. Another project I feel very, very happy about are the internal roads we are building in Saple. There are a number of roads that we are building to be able to open up Saple. There are a number of roads that we're also constructing, like the one I mentioned before, Ohoro Bomadi, to be able to connect 5 local government areas. Apart from the Ugele Asaba Express, there's no other road that we're doing at the moment that connects 5 local government areas. That's the only other road that connects 5 local government areas: Patani, Ugele South, Ugele North, Burutu, and Bomadi. All of them taking advantage of that corridor. Those are very unique projects. And then, but there's one other policy of the governor, which is being implemented through my ministry, to be able to reach out to the 25 local government area through an intervention fund. This year, we provided for 2.1 billion naira to enable us intervene in the area of construction of rural roads
to be able to link up rural communities, ensure that productivity is enhanced, and then making it possible for farmers who
yes.
are able to evacuate their farm produce and at the same time have access to their farmland.
Fantastic.
And so that we are doing. And so I find those ones quite dear to my heart. And another one that happened recently is the governor's decision to also open up the Ubulu Height. That enables us to extend the capital territory. Because at the moment you could see rent and everything is quite on the high side.
True.
Because of course, what they call the principles of demand and supply. You have many people coming in. You are seeing that influx of people is growing at a geometric progression, while the development of infrastructure, particularly buildings, is moving at a arithmetic progression. And that means that there is a high demand. And high demand with short supply leads to an increase in price. And so you see rent skyrocketing. So opening up that axis now further makes it possible for people to develop additional lands. And thereby reduce the pressure on the very few land that is in the center, the core area of Asaba. And so those are projects that are quite dear to my heart as an individual who is in this government. And I must appreciate His Excellency for giving me the privilege to preside over the supervision of these projects I have mentioned. But in terms of the administration, of course, speaking as the commissioner in charge of information, I can tell that a whole lot of projects.
I was going to ask,
the bridges we are building in Uwe, Warri, and Udu Aziz is not only dear to the heart of the governor, it's dear to the heart of all of us in the administration, and also dear to the heart of our people. Because it is not only opening up that corridor, but have also redefined the skyline of that environment, so that once you get there, you will see that indeed government is at work. And so little wonder the last time we visited on inspection, our people in that Aziz gave us what we saw as a global response to those who have, in the course of time, tried to paint pictures that are at variance with the reality. And what did they say? They said, Governor Sherry, they show workings, not be cho, which means the governor is showing activity, the governor is walking the talk, making sure that people are able to see what he's doing. So those who are in the opposition, who just want to oppose for opposing sake, they belong to the class of cho, while we belong to the class of showing workings. And so that one project stands out. But beyond that, there are a number of major, wonderful projects the governor is undertaking. As we speak to you, the governor is pursuing vigorously the bridge that links the good people of Orere in Ughelli South and their kids and kin in Abaru. The governor has also completed the bridge that links the good people of Ndokwa West, passing through Ase Creek, with their kids and kin in Ndokwa East. And so all those kind of, what you call the Beneku Bridge. So those very mind-boggling projects are dear to the hearts of our people. We have reviewed and then made it possible for the contractor to remobilize to site on the Ayokromo Bridge. Ayokromo Bridge is a very bridge, it's one particular bridge that is dear to our brothers and sisters in the Jaw ethnic extraction. Then when you talk about the Ushekiri ethnic extraction, we have the Trans-Warri Bridge, road and bridges, that's about 19 bridges. And so those bridges are dear to us, in addition to many other life-transforming projects in the creeks, where, of course, we're able to also derive many resources that individuals are talking about through oil exploitation. And, of course, you could see the reason why we're interested in giving opportunities to all, whether you live in the upland or you live in the coastal communities.
Fantastic. I think a couple of questions I wanted to throw out, you've been able to answer almost all of them. But you've been focused on roads. In terms of human development, is governor also...
Beyond roads, we are doing a whole lot in the area of medical, what's it called, health. Yes, at the moment we are revamping no fewer than 155 health centers.
Fantastic.
And at the same time, the tertiary institutions that we have, tertiary health centers that we have, whether it's in the University Teaching Hospital Ogara, whether it's Asaba Specialist Hospital here in Asaba, whether it's a Warri Central Hospital, all these ones are being re-energized. We are also building a health school in Ovrode, which is aimed at improving the number of our health personnel that we are training. Of course, you know that the Japa syndrome is pervasive across the length and breadth of the 30 states and the Federal Capital Territory. But for us, we have moved ahead of that to say, okay, even if they leave, we can easily replace them, which is why we're expanding our ability of training a number of health personnel. We are also establishing another tertiary hospital in the Ugbe Axis, so that at the end of the day, you have a number of hospitals that people can move to and can be referred to when they have much more complicated situation, health situation. And so that is that. Then in terms of human capital development, apart from the fact that there are ancillary gains from this project in terms of individuals who are involved in it, it is not cows that are helping to build the roads. It's not goods that are involved in those hospitals I'm talking about. It's human beings. That's why I say ancillary. Those ones are more like remote issues, benefits that are derivable from these different projects.
It's a ripple effect.
We also have programs across ministries. We have programs where we empower people, train and equip them. We have programs where we give people grants. Today, as we speak, over 250 Deltans have benefited from what we call the More Grant Scheme, being anchored by the Ministry of Economic Planning.
Wow.
And through that scheme, we are able to provide grants to some petty traders, so that at the end of the day, they are able to put it back and enhance their ability to, keep their business running. We also have what we call the More BizUp, being anchored by the Office of the Chief Job Creation Officer. Because you have a business, we give you more money now for your business to go up. That's why we call More BizUp. So that's on. We have program for widows. We have program for women, which we call the WhatsApp. The WhatsApp program enables us to be able to provide certain funds or project or starter packs for individuals who we call the brown step. Those brown step means people who have been able to acquire certain training in certain fields. So they are not new, they are not greenhorns. And then we're now able to bring them some skill training entrepreneurship program. So that's why it's called STEP. So now, in the course of time, we also see how we can take advantage of the very many population, particularly those who are interested. They may be green, but at the moment, it's not a priority. Why? Because it is easier to train and retain somebody who has an interest. And because that is the person's business, if you, for instance, you proceed to look for a person who has a hairdressing salon, and it's finding it difficult to cook because he or she has just one dryer, and by the time you add one or maybe give a generator, the person may not be able to cook more. That person may remain more in the business than the one that you are just training. The one that you're just training may not be interested. He may just finish, take the thing, and then sell the starter pack. But the one who is into that business want the business to grow, because even without you, he or she is in that business, which means there's an interest. So we now are navigated towards that direction, because from knowledge of hindsight, we discover that those ones are much more serious than the ones that you come and pack and say, come and learn. Some of them, they just come, learn, take the money, and then the next moment, they are still rooming and queuing behind other programs. So those are the things we are doing to enhance the human capacity. In terms of the civil service, a whole lot is also done in terms of their welfare, so that they are able to surmount certain challenges that are peculiar to people who are in the service on account of what's it called now, the challenges that we encounter in the course of the economy of today. Let me not mention those reasons that trigger those challenges, because I'm sure they are very well known to you.
Okay, we are here to talk about the beauty of Delta states. So you've mentioned a lot of things the government is doing, but what is it that when people come to Delta State, they should look out for?
The number one thing you look out for is our hospitality. The people of Delta are very hospitable. That's why if you come in today, nobody asks you where are you from. They just start relating with you. If I'm from Delta and you are from any other state in the Federation and you behave well and you are acceptable to my brother just navigates to you and ignore me. But in other places, people just want to be very ethnocentric. They want to say, no, this one is my brother, this one is my brother. No. As I speak to you, I'm not from the same ethnic group with the governor. The governor is an Urubu man. I am an Anyama man, particularly from a car extraction. But today, I have two ministers. I'm the only one that have two ministers that I'm running. If I were to Bromu Rubu, they would say, look at you, it's because it's his brother. What does that tell you? That we have a whole lot of people, starting from our leaders, that are very, very detribalized. So once you come in, our number one product is our hospitality. Because you need to be able to have that hospitable environment for you to even proceed to do any other thing you want to do. Even if you are coming to do business, you must first of all be welcomed before you can proceed to do business. Because money is one thing that is very much afraid. Anywhere money is threatened, money runs away. That's why you go to a place, the moment you feel that they are going to swindle you or that you are going to lose your money, you run away with your money. You want to take it to a safer ground. That you are seeing that Asaba is growing at such an astronomical progression. It's not because we brought a native doctor to pour some incantation. It is because those who do business have seen the need to remain in this environment, do business in this environment. Do you know what? They now go beyond doing business. Most of them come here now to marry very beautiful girls because they have seen. Then the women who also come find it easy to see how they can also, get acquainted with beautiful, handsome guys. So we are marketing a whole lot of things because of who we are. That is not to say that there are not some individuals who may characteristically behave the other way.
Yeah.
But their proportion is very, very, very infinitesimal compared to the number of persons that will welcome you.
Okay.
If you are looking for a house here, nobody is going to ask you, hey, who is your mother? Which community are you from? So long as you can pay the landlord, what do you do at most to know that, yes, number one, you have a genuine job,
yes.
and then they rent the house to you.
Okay.
If you also want to buy land, even if you want to buy land that is close to government house, nobody is going to ask you, are you from Delta? It is a relationship between you and the seller if the land belongs to him. And that is why you see even around our government house, you see a whole lot of people who are not from Delta who owns those houses.
Wow.
Because they have the ability to pay. I'm sure you have been to the Mary and Babangida corridor. You need to go there and see the sprawling number of high-rise buildings.
Wow.
Principally hotels. What that could pass by the time they are done, because if you look at it, you know that these ones will navigate towards the direction of 5-star. More than 90% of them are owned by our brothers and sisters from across the Niger.
Wow.
Why are they doing so? Hospitality. The environment is hospitable. The environment is business friendly. Very good thanks to the action of government to be able to provide that enabling environment.
Fantastic.
So that is our number one project, our number one product, our number one issue that should attract anybody. Other ones come as add-ons.
Okay.
What you may call Jara. But this one is very unique.
Okay. Nollywood or Nigerian home video, I think it started from Delta.
It lives here.
Okay.
It lives here. Well,
but gradually, Lagos is almost taking.
No.
Okay.
The reason why Lagos looks strong, because you know what Lagos is. It's not called Center of Excellence for nothing.
Yes.
Being our former capital territory, there are a number of things, and its location, in terms of expatriate and many things, there's so much money in Lagos, thanks to the businesses that go on around there. But when you talk about Nollywood, Asaba, today we are the only state that has a place built for Nollywood.
Really?
Yes, we have a film village.
Where is it located?
The film village is just not more than 10 kilometers from here.
Okay.
Whether it's epic movies, whether you want to do some form of, what does it call it now? The other kind of movies
yes.
that are much more modern. When you go to the film village, everything is ready for you.
Fantastic.
The studio is there.
Fantastic.
Even when you want to screen, we also have the theater for you to do your screening.
Wow.
Where people could sit down and watch in form of a dome, and then you come in, you think that you are in a stadium, and then you sit there, you are able to watch. So
fantastic.
all those things
so
we provided as a government.
Okay.
Because we know this is their home. So they came, whether it's a friend that matters of mention them. Those big boys you see in the industry.
They started from here.
They are here.
So that's why I wanted to know if they are.
It's only marketing that our brothers in the southeast are doing more than we're doing here.
Okay.
But you know what? A good number of the marketers are also here. Because there's a number of times those marketers are involved in the movie production.
Yeah.
So there is a whole lot. Anybody who have done movie in Nigeria and has not shot any movie in Delta, particularly in Asaba.
Have not started?
They have not started. It means it does not understand. It doesn't understand. So there is a whole lot of. Do you know the number of movies they churn out in Asaba? By the time you just hit the road now, you will see them. I'm sure by the time you come out of my street now, you will see one or two people who are shooting maybe some road scenes. There are a number of film houses in this Asaba where people go. The only thing the person build the house for is just people to come and shoot.
Wow.
Just as your location. You come, you hire for today, you give. That's why you see that most of them walk into the night. They shoot into the night because, number one, he doesn't want to spend more money to rent for 2 days.
Yeah.
Because by the next day, another person is taking over. So that's fantastic. It. The person don't want to rent the house to tenants. It's movie producers. So that's to tell you how we are. Okay. The good, and there are a lot of locations.
Fantastic.
That suits the different teams in whatever they are producing.
I learned that it's only in Delta State that has 3 airports. Is that true in Nigeria?
Yeah, at the moment we have 2 functioning. It's 2
functioning,
okay.
Okay.
And there is no other state in the whole country that has those. The only place where you have two, but in one place, is Lagos.
Yes.
And you know what? The two in Lagos are owned by federal government.
But this
Lagos State, at the moment, does not have a state-owned airport. We have one in Osubi, which you call the Warri Airport, and then we have one here in Asaba. There is another one we're trying to develop in the beyond the Warri axis, but that one is not fully developed.
Okay.
And these are not airstrips. They are airports that takes high-class aircrafts, landing and taking off. We are also the only state in the whole federation that has 4 state-owned universities.
Wow.
No other state in this federation even has 2, not talk of 4. We have 4. And the 4 of them are running very well. I just need to let you know some of that makes us quite unique. We have a number of cities. Warri is our commercial center. Asaba, our capital, which is also growing very well in terms of commerce. We have Ughelli, heavy commercially driven. We have Abo. We have Abraka. We have Saple. I don't want to mention the other one that may be smaller, but these places I have mentioned to you, when you go to those places, you know that most of them are even much more busier, much more beautiful than the number of state capitals in this federation.
Wow.
So you could see that we are not just Delta that doesn't take last, but we're indeed Delta that will never carry last.
Warri not the carry last. Thank you, sir. Before you go, before I let you go, the wife of the president was here, and there was a video that went viral, and a lot of things happened. Tell us, what's the position of the government? No,
it's not about position of the government. The thing was taken out of proportion by those who maybe they have their own primordial sentiments against the first family. When I mean the first family, I'm talking about President Tinubu and his dear wife, a very lovely daughter of ours. And so once they saw the children do what children anywhere could do, we were all children. We grew up. There's what you call deviant subculture.
Sure.
You can just even get to a place when others are saying good morning. Just out of assignment, you will just use another thing and add morning. Meanwhile, you are insulting the man. And you just smile. If you notice, they were smiling and playing with it. But as soon as some person who have their own primordial sentiments, they just blew it out of proportion. The first lady was very much welcomed. We were happy with the things he came to do in our state. He empowered a whole lot of people. And even those who were playing with that song, the few of them, it was because when they got to know that the midwives were the ones that they will benefit from the many good things the first lady brought. They now say, how can you say it's my mother when he's not giving me anything? The children thing. Say, now your mama. And if you notice, look, if the children were angry, you know what children do, students do when they're angry? They boo.
True. Very true.
If they are angry, they will say, woo.
Very true.
There was nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know the funny thing? They were very busy dancing. Each time the first lady spoke, go and check the visuals. They were clapping hands, clapping for her. But that little one, which they did, albeit playfully, is the one that those who have a different intention saw to begin to put viral. The many good things she came to do, they did not see those ones. That is the one that is of interest to them. So, but we're happy that the whole thing is over, and we saw it that the young girl was just doing what people of her age could likely do.
Yeah.
And that was just what it is. It can happen. They were not booing the first lady. They were not even angry with the first lady.
So the girl is not going to be penalized because people are worried
No, leave that. No.
Okay.
We have seen it. Even the first lady also saw it. In her press statement, you see she acknowledged that, yes, children of that age, that is what they do. It's like you're interviewing me now. Let's assume my children are here. And all of a sudden, one of them just, hey, daddy, what are you saying? You begin to beat her that he's making noise.
Sure.
That is children. You cannot deny the fact that they are children and they will always be children.
Sure.
So if you want a child to behave like an adult, then you are the one that is the child. Which means you are having expectation that is more than what you should expect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there are certain things that you should expect will happen when students gather. It's a there is nothing abnormal with what they did. There is nothing because it belongs to their age.
Yes.
If it were to be very senior people like us, then you can say, no. You should be able to read it, that this is not politically correct.
Yes, this is out of character.
The first lady did not come here to do politics.
Yes.
She came here to improve the life of our people. And she achieved that successfully.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. I'm new. I'm not from Delta State. Where are the places or the things you advise me to do before I leave Delta State?
You can visit Abraka.
Okay.
We have the water side. You will like it. If you have the time to go to Warri, but make sure you visit our leisure park here in Asaba.
Okay.
I'm sure it's a sight to behold.
Okay.
We have a very beautiful place too in Abo called a water park.
Okay.
You just sit there, you get to the place, you're able to bring, there's no river, but you're able to bring water to do a whole lot of activities, powering the whole machinery in that place. It's a fun place to be.
Okay.
And so once you get to some of these places, you will like what you see.
Okay, sir. I hope you've been able to enjoy that conversation that I just had with the commissioner, and it's been quite enlightening. Obviously, Delta State is a state that I'm not sure we'll be able to exhaust in this trip, because he mentioned a lot of places for us to visit. He talked about Ugeli, Sapele, Warri, Abo, Abraka. I mean, it's a lot, but we'll try. This is still the beauty of Nigeria from the eyes of Delta State. I hope you are enjoying this whole, will I call it edutainment? It's quite, yeah, it's an education, and also we are trying to give you a bit of entertainment. So I hope you will join us. You will continue to, watch, to join us to learn more about this beautiful state in Nigeria.